We're joined today by John Settle of your Sunnyvale Raiders. How are you doing today, Coach?
Doing good, doing well.
All right, so we're time of year. Well, it's the summer because we live in Texas. Because whoever figured out when the season start and end definitely didn't live in Texas. But we're in the summer, and that means you've got to see your football players play all spring in other sports, other UIL competitions, in the weight room. So, how'd the spring go in Sunnyvale?
Well, I think we had a really good spring. I'm a firm believer that good spring leads to good falls, and I feel like we've had a really good spring. We're district champion in track for the first time since we've moved to 4A, and so that was a good springboard for us in getting into summer. Our summer program is going really well. We've hit the ground running, playing, doing some good things in our 7-on-7 stuff. So no complaints. I'm excited. What the kids have done so far.
So, talk a little bit about 7-on-7. It's not real football. So, what do you see the values being for the Sunnyvale Raiders in participating in things like the Texas State 7-on-7 tournament?
Um, for a long time, I don't want to say I was anti 7-on-7. I wasn't. I still believe in the notion that kids deserve to get some summer. I try not to hang on them too much, and I want them to go to grandma's and jump in the pool and do all those things that kids do. And so, we for a long time we didn't really push 7-on-7. We played, but we're not a whole lot. But starting in 2018, we had a group that really wanted to pursue it. Made the state tournament that year. In 19, we won the dang thing, which was one of the most unexpected things of my coaching career. And since 18, we've made it every year but one to the state tournament. So, I think it has value. I think that again, if you are able to put it in perspective and just continue momentum, then I think that it's a good thing. So, um, you know, we have done well. Last year we made it down there with really a bunch of freshmen, and went down there and did some good things. Didn't win a lot of games, but we were there, and so we'll see. We have a lot of guys that receivers. Our skill kids are all back. We got to figure out who's going to get the most reps at quarterback. So those reps are pretty good. Pretty good for them to get those.
All right. So, speaking along that, it's summer, just had graduation. So, what are you going to look like on the field this fall? Who did you lose at graduation? Who's coming back? Who might play new roles?
Yeah, I feel like we really have a chance to be deeper this year than we've been since our 19 team. The last 3 years, we really have not been as deep as needed to be at certain positions in order to compete at a high level in our region. Really tough, and we had a tough schedule. So I feel like this is the first time that I can say that we feel good about our depth. We feel good about our young kids in particular, and we graduated as always. Everybody always does. You graduate some good kids. We especially our front kids, our offensive line kids. We had a couple of 3-year starters that are graduating. They're gonna be hard to replace, but we really like our group. They're young, they're hungry. We're gonna play several underclassmen this year again, but this should be the year I think where you look up and we've got more kids playing than we've ever had playing at Sunnyvale, and we're gonna play a true freshman team for the first time since I've been here, and so we're excited. We feel like we've got some really good things going.
Okay, so kind of walk us through your district, what 6-4 AD2, who your competition is, and what you expect to see from them this fall.
Quinlan does a really good job. They have a really unique scheme. Coach Wallace and his guys, coach the hound out of the kids, and those kids play really, really hard. They're never going to be easy to play and prepare for. Caddo Mills is the same. Caddo is growing. They've got more kids out there than we do at the moment. And Coach Gray and his staff are, they're as good as they come. They've done a really good job since he's got there and had the kids prepared each week to play. And I think Caddo Mills, if you'd have to say, looking for a rival, there's the closest thing we have to a rival. And so it's a lot of fun to play them and for our kids to get ready for them. The two Dallas schools, Dallas Lincolns, are really good. They are very well coached. They have really good players. They have a quarterback coming back that is unbelievable. I mean, he is a fantastic football player. And then Bulls Point I think is going to be better. That Coach Boxley is taking over that position and put together a good staff. And I think he's got the kids believing in what they're doing over there. So competitive district. I think like I said, I think Quinlan and Caddo they're always going to be there. Lincoln is going to be a formidable challenge, and so we'll have to play really well against them as well.
So you've been around coaching in high school for a few years.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest challenge facing high school athletics in Texas right now is?
I'm also fortunate enough that I have been on and around our THSCA board and UIL, and so I think the greatest challenge that we face right now is the outward pressures we are seeing now from people that are trying to force us into the transfer portal model that they see in the college level. There were, I think, at the beginning of this just Texas legislature session, there were 33 bills that were filed that were either aimed at or targeted UIL and what we're about. Getting our arms around doing things correctly, and kids leaving schools and going to other schools, and while we think that the majority, and I do think the majority of guys do things right, I really do, but I don't think anyone has to. It wouldn't surprise anyone to have the conversation that there are those that are not. And so I think that's a major challenge, especially in our Metroplex areas where, it seems like kids pop in and out on a fairly regular basis. So I think that's definitely one of the greatest challenges for sure.
Yeah, and I remember back to COVID when the NCAA did that waiver, and this year of eligibility doesn't count, and there were people that don't really get how high school athletics work say, well, why don't we do that in high school? It's like, because they're going to graduate, they're not going to be here. I mean, it's a 4-year deal in high school, and there are other things that's an extreme example maybe, but there are other things that just don't fit the high school model coming down from
that the COVID year, when you combine what they did in college by giving those kids a year, and then you combine it with the portal, it has made it very, very difficult for us at the high school level to get our kids recruited. It used to be that if a kid came into my office and he was a good player, I would always tell him, like, we'll find you a place to play. It may be, it may be a D3 in Emporia, Kansas, but if that's what you want to do, we'll find a place. And it's not that way right now. And it's a very difficult challenge to get your kids recruited, make them understand the recruiting process. So I think that's a major challenge.
So let's kind of go from big picture, heavy stuff, get small picture, make it a little lighter, learn a little bit about John Settle. What would you say your number one guilty pleasure is?
Number one guilty pleasure. That's a good question. Well, I am no dainty chick, so I think that I like food. I like to cook. Love to get on the smoker and get after that. And so that and spending time with my family are my two favorite things. So if you can combine those two, man, I'm a happy guy.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and best of luck as you move toward the 23 season.
Thank you very much.
And for our YouTube viewers, if you like this video, hit that like button down there. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and get this video in front of more eyes on YouTube. If you like what we're doing with these videos, just subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. You'll be notified every time we post a new video.
Awesome. Thank you.
LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.